Right. So you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Great. So let's start. So this will be a short talk, but hopefully you learn a lot from my point of view based on this topic. So as I mentioned, working for a while, and I have something to say for now because everything that I say should, is just from position from my experience and what I've really learned building software in Kenya and just startups in general. I've worked on a couple of products in the past, namely calkenya.com, Crypto.app, TesaQR, and I've learned through my experience building these projects, these software products, I've been able to really understand just the I've been able to really understand how people consume products in 2024, and it's really informed by how I build, how I design, and how I think about product generally. And what I'm not going to do is give generic advice. Actually, this the entire slides of this topic was going to be generic advice that I had really written down, which are quite obvious, which is like know your users, keep it simple, consistency is key. The general things that you're taught about UI UX, about design and product design. I have no institutional experience of that. I just have experience on the ground as a software person doing content, and I just want to give you generic advice, one size fits all kind of advice. So what I'm going to do is give you non-obvious counterintuitive tips. And if I knew what I had, if I knew what I knew now 5 years ago, that this is exactly what I should be doing. And I think these are lessons learned through past 5 years working, working and also in the projects, building them. And yeah, this is there are many ways to do one thing. That's one thing you need to know, and you can choose whether this fits. This You can choose whether this fit for you in any case. And it's quite a short the a 5 point list of of things I'd like to discuss. And yeah, we can start. So when you build products, again, from my background is from the software point of view, where I have a strong focus uh, to ship and to ship as much as you can to the customer. And it's important you do that so that you can. It's important to do that so that the customers can actually receive value, and you can be able to make informed decisions based on how your customer uses your product, on how you can evolve the product across across different stages of uh, of, of that. So so there's something. The first tip is that we have a time to wow and time to value, and remember raising this up on socials. And from what uh, time to get this first. Time to wow is how quickly a product can impress or delight a user, often through engaging, fast time user experience stand out of feature. So when you go to when you open any app, I think the past we have had an evolution the past year and also in, the past 10 years before that, where we get this intuitive onboarding experiences, and within the first 10 seconds or seconds to minutes, we can go to figure out what a product is, or we can try out a feature. Like I think when OpenAI released in 2023, we were able to realize, this is what AI looks like, and this is what works for me. And those experiences are very vital to have in your product journey. And the time to value is the time it takes after, like, how I think of it was after the product, after the user has been wowed by the product demo, the feature. Time to value is what it takes for them to uh, achieve their final result, or came to, what they actually came to the product to do. And one having these concepts in mind, these two concepts in mind is very important, because you need to be able to tell that your product journey from onboarding to actually a user paying. And one thing that you realize, one thing that you realize from customers who come to your product, they are customers who are users, and then they are buyers. And I think in sales there's this pyramid hierarchy called, I think it's a sales funnel, where the people come to your website, they get to see how it looks like, and at the end of at when they able to sign up or sign in, they go down the funnel, so they still become users of the platform until the end, where they actually buy. And users buying decisions depend on various factors. And one cool thing that from my level, I've been able to really understand how important it is this time to wow, and time to value. And yeah, that's I can give. So one example that we have is TikTok. Um, so TikTok, when you sign up in the app, the wow factor is curated, engaging video content from the start. So you can just swipe and you can get interesting projects, interesting videos that are curated. At first, it isn't curated, but the more you interact with the platform, it actually tunes you to that. And so the time to wow is immediately when you signed up using TikTok, you already knew what this app was. So that you're able, from a user's point of view, able to figure that out. When you look at the time to value for a user who's actually consuming this content, is a bit it's short term, which is minutes to hours. Meaning that after as you scroll through all this content, you it can be you'll be able to get entertained to your interests based on how you click, like, and it actually influences you're able to have quickly learning, able to have rapid self-expression of the content that you actually consume. So TikTok gets this right using this particular section. I'm going to use other Kenyan examples like Tala. So Tala, as everyone knows, it came out a long while ago. I think they celebrated their anniversary this year. And one thing that Tala came in the market is that, and that was one thing that everyone was talking about, is that the time to wow was it's short, minutes to hours. You get a quick loan application process. This is actually a Play Store screenshot, and you get that instant approval of a loan. Then rapid credit scoring using alternative data, and many people could actually figure out why Tala was actually from that point of view. From at that time, getting a loan was a complicated process. Tala just simplified digital loans within the regions. At least from they had a really good digital strategy to start off. And time to value for Tala is medium term, short to medium term. So when you borrow a loan, uh, first of all, you receive the loan disbursement within a day, and after you've used the loan for any reason, the true value of the loan means that money actually helped you is used for its intended purpose, and that's when that actually keep one of the few tiny reasons that keeps you going back to the app, because of how quickly able to get it and how quickly able to actually uh, get its intended use. Then repeated use builds credit history, potentially increasing loan limits. So the user gets a recurring value of the app the more they use it. And that from a high level design process is I'd say this is mostly on marketing copy and also the system from a systems point of view. There are elements to having a time to wow and time to value based on you can do it based on marketing copy, based on design, based on software, and also just product strategy. I think that's actually the overarching thing. And yeah, how Tyler did it, this is how I was able to tell that from their strategy, this is how they really hope the market. And we have Pickup Mtani. I think Pickup Mtani is really good uh, startup in Kenya. Really happy with the team, with what they've done and how far they've come. And one thing about Pickup Mtani, from if you asked, I think back in the day before they had this app, is that they had a quick sign up process. That quick, you can use Pickup Mtani. Then one important thing is that you get immediate price codes for deliveries. So for many people, so how Pickup Mtani used to work was uh, uh, it used to operate around neighborhoods and the local neighborhoods so that uh, for business people, and I'm just saying for I had like my aunt and a couple of business people who actually used to pick up Mutani very often. They were able to get immediate the immediate price for the deliveries. And at that time, I think Uber had just started their delivery service. Asset Boda, can't remember the deliveries, but that really from for time to wow, I consider that as minutes because people are saying when they want to do deliveries, just send it to a particular pickup Mtani agent, and that real-time availability of people locally within a different neighborhoods made it accessible to actually do business. Time to value, house to same day because you get the same delivery of parcels for the seller, real-time tracking of delivery progress, then of course the value is complete when the package is delivered. And yeah, that's how Pickup Mtani. That's how I categorize how Pickup Mtani uh, uh, distances from between from the time to wow from initially how when you look at the app and the rental shelf feature is also actually good and picking up and yeah, Pickup Mtani is one of the few people who actually get uh, this right from the start, and the founders are actually very focused on having a product that is usable to many people. Um, yeah, Gigi, I have Gigi is an interesting story where one thing you realize about Gigi is that it's an e-commerce. I will call it traditional e-commerce. Where we traditional e-commerce is that as much as people have listings, um, it you actually you don't actually order maybe you don't actually order through the GG app, but you actually get this call in the GG, this call to call directly contact to the person. One thing I did realize is that this actually reduces the friction that has been in, and this could be an entire different topic I could have spoken on about e-commerce, e-commerce just being different in 2024. One thing that you realize about 2024, about okay, the change of trends in the past few years um, is that uh, e-commerce applications, people are preferring more direct ways of contacting people. And this is a very fascinating consumer behavior. And one thing I don't see quite clearly coming out through startups is people are not relying on that direct communication. I've had the experience as a software person building a whole e-commerce platform and together with integration with the M-Pesa, and no one and the person building it doesn't actually use it that much. When you ask them why people always call people go to the e-commerce site, the Instagram store, and they just call directly to the phone number. And it's a growing trend that it's starting to make some of the products that we actually come up with. Some of the products that we actually come up with, we have to really realign with how this particular consumer behavior is, because one thing that Gigi gets right is that, and everyone actually knows, Gigi has its problems about theft and other issues, but whenever Gigi has, I think Gigi has 3x the traffic that Jumia has, that Jumia and Kilimall has. One thing that I think I should have shown the screenshot, but when you look at what people search in Gigi uh, through Google, there's a site called Ahrefs. I will share it in the speaker notes after. There's a site called Ahrefs. So when you search Gigi Kenya and uh, when you search Gigi Kenya and when you search the Jumia, you realize that Gigi people are searching for things like cars, the actual products. And while in Jumia, it was the seller buying centers. And that gave quite us, and the amount of traffic that Gigi had was really key traffic of buyers coming to look for products. And that's actually a strong signal of what's actually happening now. And one thing that Gigi, I say, what Gigi gets right is that immediate access to listings without creating an account. And this is a common theme in TikTok also, and other B2C platforms where you can browse the platform without creating an account. Some platforms like Twitter used to have a guest mode, but then they got it out. And but having people consume your product immediately without needing to sign up is one core metric to just ensure that you can get a time to wow. You can achieve a time to wow for the user faster. If there's one thing that you should try not having is that the first thing when you go to the website, when you go to your product, is a login and sign up. And you should always you should it's very critical to direct your user from a really engaging landing page or uh, from an ad, and they should be able to see the product uh, as soon as they can. One thing also about Gigi is that yeah, local relevance listings are immediately localized. Keyword things, you can find anything in Gigi. That's one good thing that I'm actually proud that we have, and it's actually growing. User-friendly free listing for sellers, which is good. Though one sad thing I was called in Gigi once, but it's the story for another day. I think at that point I had bad opinions about Gigi, but then I was able to recover the phone later on through authorities. Then direct communication with the sellers is what I've been talking about, because the actual critical behavior that Gigi capitalizes on. Then so time to value for it's short to medium term for buyers. So for me, when I go to Gigi, the value is realized when I'm able to find the products. When you design a platform that's e-commerce that people are meant to search and find for listings, they should be able to get that quickly. So your design should like accommodate that. Then, of course, when someone has a full value achieved upon purchase and receipt of item, hours to days. So here's the funny thing about this. I wrote this knowing that if it's full e-commerce, then if it's full e-commerce where someone pays through your site and actually you get back you get the item, does that mean do you trust the vendor, the seller, or do you trust the platform? And when I did, I think you guys can think more about this, but people realize that people from the research that I did for 6 people, not that much, but it's quite indicative. People who actually uh, people who actually shop online and also shop on Gigi. People trust the seller and not the platform, and that's why when they get when they get the e-commerce site and they browse through the listings, it's not that they are sometimes it can, and again this is it's a consumer behavior. It's not that people can't use the site. The site is working. You can add things to cart. Also, the add things to cart is very contentious. People one thing, some people have built websites based on WordPress, and they have a very common flow where when you order online, you add things to cart, you go to the next page, you fill in building details, which is an entire list of form inputs, then you pay, and that's usually it's not that that's wrong. That's actually it, important information that you need as a seller. But you'd find that people just say, let me just call the person. The contact is actually there. I can call, get access to the people. Then it feels like e-commerce feels more tangible in the traditional sense, and that's why it's a critical consumer behavior that we really have to optimize upon. So one thing for sellers, key value thing is that they get uh, they can easily initial value is easily listed items for free. Then full value is upon successful sale. So this is a typical two-sided marketplace where you have sellers and buyers. And when you're building a design, you need to cater for both too. And they're fairly the same on what you need to do. And yeah, so this is an interesting case study, and actually it actually based a large part of why I needed to bring this to attention to people on how consumer behaviors have changed. Then one important thing is mimetic design. What is this? In one sentence, it's just to craft products that imitate familiar concepts and behaviors that already exist. Um, and why is this? That reduces the cognitive load in figuring out how to use products. Sometimes there are some products that you use, and it actually reminds you of a similar process to a different product. Like if you use WhatsApp or if you use Telegram, yeah, WhatsApp and Telegram is a chat interface where you input your keyboard and you can be able to see a chat. You can be able to chat with a person or chat within a group. And funny enough, even those were based on the original text message interface, which is a chat interface. And in the future, right now, we have AI going through. When you decide on a particular mode of how to comment, how to build your product or how to design your product, ensure it follows as much as you can that design that that design behavior, just that behavior operation uh, of other products, because people will be able to figure out your products faster, leads to faster adoption, and it actually also encourages viral behavior because they've actually seen that before. If you've seen back then, this popular person called Nikita Dia, who he had a podcast the other day with Lenny's podcast. I think it's been mentioned in this group before, and he built a viral app called TBH, and I think he built Saraha. Back then, these are viral apps that have the same kind of mimetic behavior that encourage sharing. So whenever they get used, people who've used such products before, they're able to figure things out. They would figure it out easily and and just uh, just actually go ahead and use the product. So when you're crafting when you're crafting a banking app, this is controversial on my side. When you're crafting a banking app, uh, you have what is the most? Or okay, let me start with the before the banking app. Let me start with the more common app, a ride-hailing app. When you go to the ride-hailing app, what is the first app that people mostly identify with ride-hailing? The Uber app, and we also have Bolt. So if you were designing another app that was like you've been tasked to design another ride-hailing app, it is it is it is in your interest and the benefit of your users if you design the interface to actually mim- kind of mimic uh, some of the elements that the initial apps have. One challenge that people had, I remember back in 2018 or 2019, we were working a project with, actually 2018, project with a friend, a similar kind of Uber app. And we we did realize that back then, I think 2018, we had Safe Border. We had Safe Border had just come out. It was actually very popular. And this person would launch this Uber app uh, in in Kisumu. In one of those calls, one interesting thing is that the person wanted well, again this is I think in hindsight it might have been a good idea, but they wanted people to book riders whenever, similar to how in driver works, where you get as a person who's as a customer, you can just choose the cheapest ride there, and each drivers can actually set their own prices on set their own prices based on a particular request. And one challenge I had with that is that at that time, again it was new. At that time, it introduced a lot of friction to use the product, and people will not. Whenever people try to use, we did a test with like a bunch of people. The first design, we realized the immediate challenge because people are not familiar about the whole different drivers having prices, and that's why. And we had to make a different product iteration now that fitted Uber, particularly Safe Border, since it was also for borders. So this mimetic design is ensure within the category of product you design, try and get, from how I look at it, try and get the most popular used app in the phone. For banking apps, I recommend, this is again my POV. It's not set in stone. The most used app, financial app in the Play Store or the iOS App Store is the M-Pesa app. And let me actually move to that. So M-Pesa is one example. Digit what does it do? It's a digital version of cash transactions in banking. So the wallet there, this is actually my wallet. This is I still call this M-Pesa, the 2010, uh, and I really wish they bring this back. And one funny thing, that maybe a joke that we have with my folks, is that this was the original M-Pesa because Safaricom was a wallet company, and now Safaricom has this user interface which mimics banking in a strong sense. So what I meant, circling back to circling back to uh, the original, uh, the mimetic behavior I was mentioning. When you make the most used app for both iOS and App Store is the M-Pesa app. There's a strong likeliness that if you're making a similar app that is like this, um, that is a that handles transactions in Kenya, people use people have the M-Pesa app already, and I have a strong case. I can't say it's verified that I looked through multiple banking apps with different people, and the best experience that I found was shocking the Equity app experience. Banking experience, that's an entirely different question. But also, I'd say I'd vouch for them. Yeah, I think other opinions. It's good to have opinions on the best bank, but uh, within the app, as an app experience, that put it as Equity. But also, one curious thing is that it also strongly mimics the M-Pesa app in a way, and that's one thing that, especially the initial design, I found. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but I believe that when you popularly use an app and you transition to a different app which has a similar experience, you're able to pick up easily. So And I only validated it within my cohort of friends. You can try doing this experiment with different similar apps within a niche, and able to. If you make an e-commerce app, an e-commerce platform, you do realize that all of them would nearly look the same. And one important thing, though, differentiate. It's good. It's important to differentiate your product. There are many ways to differentiate your product. This mimetic design does not encourage you to copy someone else's work exactly. However, you should be able to copy some key concepts of how an app operates, and that will be able to actually get you to will really reduce the friction that a user experiences using your app. And you're lucky that, especially if you have competitors or if they want to migrate to your app, they can actually use it because it's an actual alternative and it works the same. And that's a good thing that you need to ensure. One challenge that you realize that uh, remember last year when Elon bought Twitter, and guys were saying, okay, where do we go? And there were suggestions. So there was an app called Mastodon. Then we had Blue Sky. Blue Sky, they were restricting invites, but I think they were fast. And we noticed one interesting thing. But Twitter succeeds strongly because of the network effect and all that. But when people did migrate to other platforms, they just kept comparing it to Twitter. Uh, and there were platforms like Mastodon. So Mastodon, it was a decentralized kind of social network, which is kind of cool. However, to users who are looking for not Elon app, that really conflicted with how they think a social network works. And I think Meta actually released Threads in June last year, and it did it did now elicit the kind of let's all move here because it's just like Twitter kind of effect because it really borrowed heavily from how the modern social network is meant to be. And even though Threads right now, I think one strong opinion that you can tell is that it's um, many users in Instagram come directly linked to Threads, and that's why it has a lot of traffic. But with the initial surge of this is like Twitter really drove users to adopt, at least within to give them a strong. Actually, I don't think they had a problem with cold start because they already had Instagram, and by cold start meaning just how do you spur this is my understanding of cold start. How do you spur up users to use the platform where you have zero users and you don't you need to have users to actually create some activity. So Threads did that, and it's also a common case study of why you should adopt mimetic design in your in whichever product that you do. I usually go for the most used. What is the leading item in this leading app or leading product in this category, and what is the most favorite. Sometimes it will be the same, or sometimes it will be different, and I try and contrast between like four different products if they exist. We would come up with a baseline of okay, for this design, this is how we're going to differentiate, and this is how we're going to make it better. As you take notes with each of them, you able to learn how you can make a product better. And this is important to do while you're doing research, where you're doing competitor research and how to make your product better. And you think design is the way to go about it. Um, the third tip number three is above the fold. So what does this mean? Design all the everything within your app from the landing from marketing. They say in the landing page they always say the first before they scroll the screen before a user scrolls
Is it only me or can you hear David?
I also can't hear him.
Pardon?
I also can't hear him.
Okay. So let's see whether I can. Can I think David lost connection. I'll try to see whether he can join us on. But in the meantime, you can share powerful insights that you've gotten from the discussion that we've had so far. For me, what's up for me is the mimetic design. I never knew there's something like that, like like that existed. So we can have the conversation going on that. If you'd like to speak, please unmute yourself and contribute to the discussion. Anyone who wants to have a go at that. Okay, that's interesting. I'll be bad today and pick on someone. So let me see someone. Alan. Alan, can you contribute to the discussion as we wait for David to rejoin the meeting or to reconnect? Okay, so you're back. Okay.
Oh my! How long had I been off?
You'd been lost for a while from above the fold. I think we were going to the
Oh, okay.
next thing.
Okay. Not that's okay. Friend just texted me
Yeah,
a minute ago.
you've just saved someone from being monetized by me, so that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. So yeah, above the fold, design everything to fit in one screen. Everything, just put it in one screen without scrolling. It will make it easier for your user. It will make it easier to process. Then the next thing, demo should be the first step of onboarding. Product demos, this will be the first point of contact to onboarding. One thing I did learn is that when you build B2C products, mostly have the benefit of let's show the user the product. Let's not sign them up. Let's just show them the product, and they were able to get in. So the time to was actually short. But for B2B, most businesses prefer to validate and qualify someone who's signing up. And one thing that B2B products can do, I actually recommend for most B2B products, is either it could be a feature or it will be just a platform. But have a product demo of the have a product demo design of the platform, and that should be the first point of contact to onboarding. Meaning, you could have an onboarding product demo of how to use. I could say an example for. I can give an example of a B2B product that creates service. So if people want to you want to show a tree diagram of people being able to create service, and people can do that free without any account. And there's a strong call to action for them to actually sign up with the data they've actually collected within the product demo. So the product demo is meant to be just the time to wow. And within 30 seconds, I usually say 30 seconds to 1 minute, they should go to figure out what this product does and actually be interested at it. And if they want to continue and they've already done something within the product demo, you can take that and actually sign up the user. And even better, make them the same, where in this case, the demo should be the first step of onboarding. It's one key lesson I've realized in building products, and it's a strong strategy to actually ensure that you can be able to test users. You can be able to make sure users become buyers quicker. Because if a product, if it's a strong likeness, if a user is able to likes the product demo, especially for B2B, signs up and is able to convert to being a paying customer. So that's one strong lesson I learned in startups that we worked in before, and we are able to really strengthen the value proposition of the product as you go as you as you as you go through the as you onboard users. So if there's one thing I should never forget is this completeness. So my controversial take is that product aesthetics and polish matter to a level, but matter. And what level is it? You should be able to have a bare minimum quality bar in every component screen you design. I'm glad that design has gotten better in 2024, and the products are just have the quality bar has really gone high, and you can't you I even don't think about having an MVP is something that you talk about right now, because the quality bar of how products should be is so high that everyone is expected to actually build something that has has build something that has a sense of completeness. And one ways of by aesthetics and polish within design, I'd say micro interactions are good to have within an app. Don't have the product on. I shared a funny tweet the other day where the Safaricom developer portal hasn't been updated in a while, but the login screen is a it has a funny animation. And if there's one thing, you should go over the top like that when it comes to products. Don't try as a design person. You should be able to have really focus on having a sense of craft personship or craftship or way in every design spec that you actually build. And if there's one thing that I have had experiences being handed over crazy designs by a designer and able to execute it to a T, but actually draw some lessons that completeness of a product uh, uh, really goes a long way in giving a strong impression. It doesn't necessarily convert into a sale, but it's good to have a sense of that quality. But because by default, people are able to do that right now, even with AI. And every product I feel has a strong level of quality that as we design, I will say software engineers need to take designers more seriously. I'm one of the people who are now in that bucket. And as much as execution is good, the idea is also very, very, very important. And with the AI, it's really changed the bar and how we think of things. And yeah, the quality bar is high. Then the last thing, this is a quote by Jason Cohen, is he says that the MVP implies a selfish process, abusing customers so you can learn. Instead, make the first version simple, lovable, and complete. So in any design that you do, uh, make something that your customers will enjoy. Make something. I will replace simple with direct, meaning that direct is more. I will call it simple plus plus in a sense, but make a product direct to the user so they can figure out. And with what I've mentioned about time to wow, it really gives a strong picture of how you should how what this phrase means. And yeah, so that's one that's one quote that you pick from most of this call. MVP is also good, yeah, but follow. It's good to in the end have a simple, lovable, and complete product. Jason Cohen is an entrepreneur who did WP Engine. He writes a nice blog that if you do software, you can go to, you'll be if you do software product or entrepreneurship, you're able to really learn a lot on that. Um, yeah. Then this section info diet. In any case, you want to consume you want to learn about product design and what I really learned a lot, how I've learned a lot of some of these things by doing and by experiencing and realizing that this is how actually these are the things I've been noticing. Um, these are the three things. Marketing examples by Harry. Marketing content is important. You're able to really learn how to do design better for a product POV. Also marketing copy, and then a smart bear by Jason Cohen. Then Ladies podcast, which has a whole trove of hosts who come and share the ideas and product. And by info diet, I mean it's good to consume the information from different sources because it really influences the way you think and how you it's good to get knowledge and apply it practically. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's that's my talk on this. I do have I have a software. There's a software version of this which is building direct and complete UI, which I have a session in the next. It's more detailed and more tactical. This was meant to be tactical with the design session, but I didn't find time. Maybe at a later date. But I have a software product, a software POV during a talk in Redacon, Africa, which is on October 4th, 5th. So I'll be a speaker. So if you're interested in that, come visit. I will talk only English and not code. That's one thing I can. That's one thing I like to ensure to communicate because these are products. You're building products for humans, so there's a lot you can learn. There's lot you can learn from generic concepts and communication, even software design and product. And yeah, that's that's what I have for you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Could you interest us like share that in chat if we want to join you for your talk? So yeah, Kona Makofi, Yanderemo. So yeah, thank you. It was such an insightful session. Do people have any questions from the audience? Do we have any questions? Personally, I was what captured my attention was the mimetic design. I didn't know something like that. Like I knew something that like that existed. I just didn't know that it had a name. But I now know it has a name. So does anyone have any questions that you'd like to post? You can unmute yourself and ask David. Also, if you want to join him later for the longer version of this, he'll share that in chat. Ama you'll send so that I can send to the participants, which works. Okay, yeah. Oh, so you're attending render corner? I never knew. Okay. Okay. Hey. That's okay. I'm assuming.
One
Okay. Go
TLDR,
ahead.
I'll also give people uh, for any person who's doing software design, let's just make things we're proud to build. Let's not have the situations that let's just make good software. Just be proud. Building things for customers, but also just building good software. There are so many mistakes uh, that we see. People don't make them right now, but we can do. We can we can go a long way in actually in in actually building good products. And I'm really proud that I see a lot of potential within people I interact with, and the quality bar is high. So it's really good to actually get there and learn.
Thank you for that. Actually, I'm just going to move with like if there are no questions, then we'll be coming to a close of this. But I don't want to close anyone else who has any questions or suggestions on how we can continue to conduct our UIX Nairobi meetings. Um, Comments. Okay, Dean, you can speak up.
Thanks, UI UX Nairobi, for the opportunity. And thanks, David,